Hi everyone and welcome back to a new episode of Azure. For sure, as always, I'm your host Simon and we are back once again. I cannot believe we're only at the episode number 8. We started this Azure for sure season only 8 week backs, and in just about 2 weeks we're going to conclude this season, which definitely makes me sad. Having said that, I have still not decided who's going to be my final guest of this season. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. And welcome everyone who is joining. I see quite a few folks joining us in the chat. So welcome back. For someone who's joining us for the very first time, we do this show every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time US. It changes sometimes, but in most of the cases it is. And today we have an absolutely amazing guest. I am hosting her for the very, very first time. I cannot believe that I have been doing virtual events for almost like 3 years now, and I haven't hosted her. I've hosted almost everyone, almost every Microsoft MVP. But for some reason, I think this episode was meant for her. I'm talking about none other than the rock star in the AI community we have is Foteini. I cannot say her last name. I just tried in the green screen green room. I couldn't do it. Foteini is a final year electrical and computer engineering student. She is interested in IoT, AI, cloud technologies, and biomedical engineering. Whoop, it goes over my head. Foteini has been awarded as a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional in AI, which is absolutely great, and she's actively involved in the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Community Program. If you don't know about it, go ahead and Bingle it, that is Google plus Bing, or if you want to do Chat GPT these days. She constantly shares her knowledge on Microsoft Azure technology, speaks at conferences, user groups, and runs a technical blog at, oh, there's a S in ahead of Foteini, that is sfoteini.github.io. So let's welcome none other than Foteini. Hi Foteini, welcome to the Azure for sure.
Hi. Hi, thank you very much.
So thanks Foteini for joining us. A quick question, where are you joining us today from?
So today I'm joining you from my country in Greece.
Wow, I love Greece. I want to visit Greece someday. So, what time is it actually to your place? Is it 7 p.m. something?
Yes, 7 p.m. in the
Yeah,
evening. It's very good.
that's good. So that's great for the niece. So how's the weather out there? What's the typical weather in at your place? Is it hot? Is it cold?
It's sunny today,
It's sunny.
but
Okay.
it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's something in between.
That's good. That's good. I want to be that place. Here in India, it's very hot. 9 months is
Oh,
just hot. And you cannot live in India. So, for the coming back to the topic, right, you're only 5 minutes into the show. Today, you're going to talk about automate document processing with Azure Form Recognizer. Now, that topic itself goes over my head, just the way your biomedical engineering stuff. Uh, Quick question before you actually get started with the session: that why did you end up choosing this very specific and niche topic to talk today?
okay, I have the question, the answer, because despite all the advantages that we see in technology and in the other ecosystem, every day we use phones to communicate information and
Mm-hmm.
between industries and between people. I mean, we fill in different types of forms like contracts, health reports, or we use invoices and receipts. So we want an automated solution to process all these files and extract data from these files and embed all this data in our workflows and create visualizations or to gain insights about our companies. So I decided to show you how to use Azure Form Recognizer to build an automated solution.
That's very interesting. I think this will be of use to everyone, right? So I'm really excited, and I'm gonna add your screen to the stream now. In three,
Yeah.
2, 1. Everybody else, please feel free to go ahead and ask a question in the comments, and we'll take it whenever for the new ones. And for the new, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. So, as Simon said, we're going to talk about Azure Form Recognizer, which is an Azure Applied AI service that is used to extract data and information from documents, either in printed or online format. I'm sorry. So, this is a slide about me. Simon said wonderful things about me. I'm a senior student at the Electrical Computer Engineering Department of the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki in Greece, and I specialize in the field of telecommunication. And I'm also involved in Microsoft Tech communities, first as a Microsoft Student Ambassador and now as a Microsoft MVP in AI. So today we are going to talk about the optical character recognition and document understanding capabilities of Azure Form Recognizer, and build an automated solution for automated document processing using logic apps, Form Recognizer, databases, and Power BI. So the first slide, it was about why I have chosen this topic for today, but Simone already asked me this question. So I'm going directly to my second slide, which is why we care about automated data extraction for files. Because all these types of documents, either in printed format or in electronic format, like PDFs, cannot be used directly in our workflows. And this is because they are not in a machine-readable format. So uh, how can we process a huge amount of data without heavy manual intervention? We'll see how we can use optical character recognition and document understanding technologies based on AI to streamline this process. Our scenario for today is let's consider that you work in a company that provides customer service to different types of customers. And every day, customers leave feedback about their experience with the customer service that they received, and you want to analyze this form in order to extract information about the experience of the customers and their satisfaction with the service that they received, and find any areas of improvements. I'm sorry. And we have two different types of forms that the customers can complete. And you want to build a single service that will be able to analyze this form in real time and provide insights about the data that was extracted. This is the workflow that we will build. We will use Form Recognizer to train a customer model using our forms, and then set up a solution use logic apps for automated document processing and visualize the result in Power BI. So let's start. This is this is the Azure AI platform, which is a collection of services, pre-trained models, and tools that enable you to build apps that can take decisions or that can take decision or do things like see the word or produce voice and understand text. And and Azure AI platform is made up of three categories of services: the Azure Machine Learning, the Azure Cognitive Services, and the Azure Applied AI Services. Azure Machine Learning is a platform for operating machine learning workloads in the cloud. It provides you a set of services that help you build, model, prepare data, label data sets, and publish and manage predictive services. On the top of the Azure Machine Learning, we have the Azure Cognitive Services, which is a collection of pre-trained models that enable you to build apps that can see, understand language, speak, or take decisions. And of course, we have the new OpenAI service. And applied AI services are built on the top of the cognitive services and provide you pre-trained models for common tasks. Form Recognizer is an applied AI service that applies machine learning-based optical character recognition and document understanding technologies to extract text, table data, layout information, and key value pairs from your documents. Form Recognizer is built on the top of the Azure Cognitive Services for Vision and the Azure Cognitive Services for Language. Now, what kind of services does Azure Form Recognizer offer? We have the document analysis models, which are pre-built models that are designed to analyze a general type of forms. They can extract words, paragraphs, lines, table data, selection marks, and barcodes from your document. While the pre-built models are models that are pre-trained on a specific type of a document, like an invoice or a receipt or an identity document. These documents are trained mostly using US-based prototypes, and they are available in a very few languages. And if the document analysis models or the pre-built model doesn't suit your purposes, you can just build a custom models and upload your data, label your data, and then publish a new model that is specific to the data that you will receive from your users. Now, to use Form Recognizer, you have to provision either a cognitive service or a Form Recognizer resource. The cognitive service resource is a multi-service resource, which means that you can access all the Azure cognitive services under a strict endpoint and key. On the other hand, Form Recognizer is a single service resource that is about Form Recognizer only. And to develop models with the Form Recognizer or just explore the pre-built models, you can use either the Form Recognizer Studio, which is an online graphical user interface, or use a client library for the four available languages. Today we will work with the Form Recognizer Studio and see how we can use the pre-built models and build the custom models. The read model is the simplest model that Form Recognizer offers and can only extract words, paragraphs, and barcodes from your documents. Layout model can in addition extract table data and selection marks. For example, let's try this document. And all the documents in the Azure Form Recognizer can extract handwritten text, but this capability is only limited to Latin letters. And on the right, we can see the text that was extracted by the model, and table data, and selection marks. The general document can also extract key value pairs. Let's try this one. And key value pairs are span of text within the documents. And key is like a label, and the value is a span of text that the model associates with this key. Like in this case, we have the key is the proposed start date, and the value is the actual date. Both the key and the value is part of the document. And now we have the pre-built models. Here we can use this model to extract a predefined set of fields. This is a model for analyzing invoices. And the difference between the pre-built model and the general document model is that the fields are predefined by the model, while key value pairs are extracted dynamically. What this means, and for example, this one, the field name is the vendor name. This is defined by the model, and the value is the name of the company that's extracted dynamically. In the key value pairs, in this case, we have the key is also a part of the text that appears in the document. While in this case, we have a predefined field name. You can also find some features that are under preview right now, and these are all the pre-built models that are offered by the form recognizer. Now, for the custom model, we have two types of custom models, the custom extraction model and the custom classifier, which was recently added to the form recognizer collection. Custom extraction models are trained to recognize, field, and extract key value pairs from your documents and can be one of two types, the custom template model or the custom neural model. With the custom classifier, you can train a model to identify the type of a document and then use the extract type of a document to invoke the best matching custom extraction model. So this is a comparison about the available custom extraction model in Form Recognizer. The custom template models accept documents that have the same page structure, which means that the position of the elements within the page is the same across the entire dataset. And if you have a dataset that contains documents with different page structure and visual appearance, you will notice that the accuracy of the model it's not very good. And in this case, you can build different models for each set of different documents and then compose them together into a single model. On the other hand, custom neural models can have documents that have different page structure but have the same information. And this is because custom neural model uses deep learning technologies and transfer learning to train the new model. And this means that the custom neural model starts with a base pre-trained model on a large collection of documents and then adapts this model to fit your dataset. Custom neural models are only available in a very few languages. Previously, they were available only for English, but with the new release of the Azure Form Recognizer API, the Spanish, German, French, and Italian and Dutch were also added in the supported languages of the custom neural model. To build a custom model, either template or neural or classifier, you need a storage account and a container to upload your dataset. And you also need to configure cross-origin resource sharing in order for the container to be accessible from the Azure Form Recognizer Studio. And how you can do this? You can go to the resource sharing pane of your storage account, and in the allowed origin list, you can add the URL of the Azure Form Recognizer Studio. And now you can train your model. There are 4 steps that you need to follow in order to train a model using the Azure Form Recognizer Studio. The first step is to create a project and specify the name of the storage account and the container which contains your training dataset. And for training a model, you need at least 5 samples of your forms. The next step is to analyze the forms, and the Azure Form Recognizer Studio runs each document through the layout API, and an OCR.json file is generated for each document. The OCR file contains information about the layout of each document and also contains the extract text. Then you create the fields that you will use in this project, and in the storage account a field.json file is created, which contains information about the name of each field and their type, like they are a string, or they are a number, or they are a selection mark. And the last step is to actually label your documents. And by doing this, a label.json file is generating the storage account that contains the labels for each document, the key value pairs, and the coordinates of the polygon area that surrounds each span of text. And now let's see how to build the custom models. I have already created a demo project for you to see the process. On the left pane, you can see the data set. On the right pane, you can see the fields that I will use in these documents. And you will see this document is analyzed by the layout API, which means that we have extracted the text from the document, and I have also assigned labels to the values that I want to extract. For example, this is a selection mark that says whether the user has selected the product service information selection mark. Let's analyze a new document. And now that I have used the layout API to generate the OCR result of the document, I can go on and label this document by selecting the span of text that I want to assign a field. For example, in this case, I want to assign the field product service information in this selection mark, so I only select the selection mark and then select the appropriate field. You can also select a span of text, like if you want to mark that this sentence contains the value of a key, you can just mark the sentence and select the name of the field. And you can also create new fields by using the plus sign and selecting the type of the field, like field, selection mark, signature, or table. And if you select field, you can also specify the subtype, like string, number, date time, or integer. And then you can go on and click on the train button to train your model. On the models window, we can see that I have already trained some models. They are all trained as template models. And I can test this model locally on the studio by providing a new document. And on the right pane, you will see that the form recognizer generates the results. And I can see the result either in this graphical format, or I can see the JSON output, which is what I will use when building an app or a workflow. Because I use template models and my dataset contains only a very few samples, you will notice that sometimes the accuracy of the model it's not very good. In this case, it's actually very good. But if this is like a handwritten document and scanned, if in some cases the form recognizer may not be able to extract correctly the handwritten text or the selection marks. So in this case, we may need to pre-process the images in order to improve the contrast ratio or improve the quality of the image. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. And see our overall document processing automation solution that we will build. So, consider that a logic app ingests raw forms that are uploaded in a blob storage container. Then, inside the logic app, we call the form recognizer API to analyze this form and to extract the key value pairs from the submitted form. And then we save the result in a Cosmos DB NoSQL database, and we can ingest this data in Power BI and visualize the insights from the forms. Okay, back to the Azure portal to see how we can automate this solution of the document processing. This is my Logic App. This is the Logic App Designer, which is a graphical user interface to build a workflow. To build a workflow, you need to select actions in the form of blocks and specify some detail for each action. The first step is the trigger. I use event trig as a trigger, and event grid is a kind of event broker that some application can push events to an event topic, and some other application, which is called subscribers, can have these events pushed to them. So using the event grid, I then create a trigger to run my workflow when a new blob is created in my Azure storage account. To do this, I specify the name of the Azure storage account and the type of event that I want to have in this case. Event grid generates a JSON output that contains important information about the file that I have submitted to the Azure storage account. And in order to get this information in our workflow, we need a part.json action. And in this case, I have to specify the schema of the output of the event grid event. And how to do this? You can use this command, the use payload JSON schema, and copy and paste a sample JSON payload of the event grid for the action which is called Azure Blob Storage created. And then in this case, the part.json generates automatically the expected schema of the result. Now we can use the information extract from this step in the next step, which is the analyze document using the form recognizer API. In this case, I have to specify the name of the model that I created in the form recognizer studio, and I want to use to analyze new forms. In this case, I use a compose model, which means that I have composed the two models that I created previously, this one and this one. Each of these models correspond to the different types of the forms that the user may complete. And by creating a composed model, I can call only a single model for analyzing different types of forms. How this works? Form recognizer first classifies the documents that it receives, and then invokes the best matching model and returns the results. And in the document image, I use the dynamic content that generates from the previous step, and I choose the URL of the document that I have uploaded to the Azure Blob Storage container. Azure Form Recognizer API also generates a JSON output that contains the key value pairs from the documents. And we can read these key value pairs by using another part.json action. And as I did before, we can use the same payload to generate the schema. In this case, I'm mainly interested about extracting the fields and the value for each field. And the output of the Azure Form Recognizer response contains a section which is named fields. And this section contains all the key value pairs as well as some other information like the coordinates of each polygon area. By using this section, which is called fields, I can generate the expected schema for my JSON output. And now I can extract all the key value pairs that were generated by the Azure Form Recognizer and create a new JSON file, a new dictionary, and save the result in an Azure Cosmos DB database. I use a NoSQL database in this case. And using the compose model and some if statements, I can check whether the form recognizer have extracted a value for each field, and then compose all the result in one JSON file and save this file in the Cosmos DB database in order to analyze the result in the Power BI. Now we can click this run, and we can see the output of the Azure Logic app when we upload a new document in our Azure Storage container. So I will go to select my container. I'm sorry, some. Okay. And then I will upload the form, and we can visually see the results on the Logic App Designer. And now we can see that our workflow is running. And in the compose, we can see the results, the key value pairs that were extracted from the Azure Form Recognizer model. And now what I did is to make a connection between the Azure Cosmos DB database and the Power BI in order to create a dashboard to visualize the results about the data that I have extracted. This is a table that contains all the data that were extracted, and you can also see some simple charts to visualize the number of documents received per each category. And you can also see the satisfaction level of the customers. So that's all. I know that we could cover a lot of things today, and I encourage you to try to build this workflow by your own in order to see how Form Recognizer works and how you can process the output of the Form Recognizer to generate insights about your documents that you want to analyze. And also you can build a Power BI dashboard to visually inspect the results. Here you can see two Microsoft learning paths from Microsoft Learn. The first one is for beginners, and the second one is for the intermediate level. And you can also go and see what these models cover and try to build the exercises that they provide. Also, if you like these document process automated solutions that I present today, you can stay tuned with my blog because next week I will publish a detailed guide on how you can build a custom model called the Form Recognizer API through the Azure Logic Apps and analyze the results in the Power BI. So thank you everyone. And if you have any questions, you can just go to the chat and submit your question, and I will try to answer some of them if we have some time.
Whoa, that was absolutely great, Foteini. You didn't stop even for 5 seconds. And to be honest, right, I wasn't expecting that you will complete an end-to-end presentation. I mean, not the presentation, but also the demo application that you showed, right? Starting from the form, then going to the logic apps, and eventually ending into the Power BI. That was absolutely great. You were able to do in about 30 minutes. Um, so, quick question that maybe I have missed it, right? Is when you were actually training your models, right? Did you create any compute engine behind it, or it was everything? Did you create any compute engine in the Azure, or it was all happening within that form recognizer?
No, everything is happening in the Form Recognizer Studio. I only need to provision a Form Recognizer resource and a
Mhm.
storage container to
Mhm.
upload the dataset.
Okay. So and all the computation part is then carried out on its own, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in the cloud in the Form Recognizer Studio. I don't have to provision any kind of like
Yeah.
VMs or
That's easy.
compute resources.
That's
Yeah.
very easy, and I really liked it. When I and these are kind of forms, right? So I remember in the early preview of Azure Form Recognizer, right? In the very early preview, they would say that it works only with some US bills and UK bills, US kind of formats. What about now? Does it recognize every kind of form, or there particular some standards?
Yes, read, layout, and general document models and custom models are available in more than 150 languages.
Okay.
But pre-built models are only available in like less than 10 languages.
Yeah.
And the custom neural model was available only for English languages, but now is under preview Spanish, French, Italian, German, and Dutch.
They don't do Hindi for some reason. I don't understand why.
I think they do Hindi for the custom model.
Oh, okay, they do. Okay, then it's okay. I don't know. For some reason, I've seen people just ignoring Hindi. Maybe because everyone here in India speaks English or understands. That is why in most of the cases people don't translate to Hindi. But yeah, I think it was very complete, as I said, end-to-end demo. Now that for the you have worked with Azure Form Recognizer, I see. I've used other tools. There are many other tools, right? For instance, Azure Form Recognizer is using OCR, which is an open source library, right? And I see in even a Power Automate, people using forms to actually extract the data, then put it in a form or maybe JSON and do it. You working on Azure Form Recognizer, what is the most irritating part? Because I know AI is still not there. I know the chat GPT thing is coming, but what do you think there's still room of improvement or something that people may face problem when they are getting started with Azure Form Recognizer?
I think that many people are struggling to extract data from paper forms. So if you can
Yeah.
just scan a document and then upload it to Form Recognizer, you can easily extract all the data in less than a minute. So this is the
Yeah.
most like amazing part of the service.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
I
really.
have to
Mhm.
yeah, I have to say that the extraction of handwritten text is not always so good that than the digital text.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have
it
to
is
like
not, but
apply some pre-processing.
yeah, it is. I think you can maybe add on top of it and whatever you like, but I think it does save a lot of your working hours. Imagine if have to scan a form, right, and then actually, I don't know how I would copy it, but you're right to digitize the forms that I have already, right? This is the only way one could do it. If I end up doing like 100 forms in a day in 8 hours of work, my boss is going to kick me out, right? If I just try to fill it. So these tools would be really helpful, and I'm glad you also shared some of the resources towards the end. Anything else for the you like to add, apart from Azure Form Recognizer? Any other services that you like in the AI suite of Microsoft?
I think the best part to learn about our form recognizer is Microsoft Docs, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can go to the Microsoft Lens to see some end-to-end solutions using form recognizer.
Mm-hmm. Perfect, perfect. All right, so I'll ask you one final question for the thing that I asked to everyone. Okay, I'll ask you, and this is going to be a tough one. Okay, so I want you to put on your seatbelts. So, apart from all these demos and great text, what do you do on your free time? What are some of your hobbies?
I
Yeah,
don't have free time at this time, but generally I
the
like to
student is
draw.
studying. Yeah,
I
you
like
like
to
to
draw
draw?
things using. Yeah, I'm in the final semester, so I have so many things to do. But I like to draw and to do I like digital arts or play
Mm-hmm.
with robotics and IoT, which is both
Mm-hmm.
something I do like in professional, let's say field, but
Yeah.
it's also a hobby.
Yeah, I see some. I see some maybe robot pictures in the background, so that definitely makes sense. Drawing is good. Yeah, I think yeah, you're a rock star. Yeah, you're involved with this, so that's great for the need. Thank you so much. Anything finally you want to add before we wrap up the show?
No, I want to say a huge thank you for you for having me today, and thank you everyone for joining us. I know in some places it's very late, in some
It's
places
very late.
very
Yeah.
early. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, I would also let you go for the. I know it's already what 8 p.m. at your place probably. Right, it's time for dinner. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I finally get to host you. I've been following all your amazing work that you do. Would love to host you again whenever you're possible. Until then, for the and thank you so much everyone for joining. We'll see you in the next episode. Ta-da! Bye bye.